Welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to be hopping in the boat with Tom Huynh. We're going to catch some walleyes and he's going to show off not a new bait but a new color that he's been playing with a little bit to put more walleyes in the boat. So without further ado, let's jump right in.
Yeah, that's a nice one there. Not bad. But yeah, this is a new color tungsten. It's an olive. It's green, and yeah, we're excited to have this color. When they ask which colors we wanted to see the most, I like this olive color because it matches natural forage. I want my jigs to blend in basically with things that are in the lake. So everybody knows I like the black for matching silhouettes, and the green tungsten here, it matches grass, it matches weeds and all that, so it blends in. And basically my theory is to use the jig as just a vehicle for whatever bait, whether it's artificial or live bait.
Next up, Tom is going to talk about why the color olive in a jig can be one of the stealthiest colors that you can have, and what the specific conditions are that he's using olive.
There we go.
Nice.
I'll grab the net.
Oops. There you go.
Another one here. With this tungsten as well, when they pick it up, you can definitely feel it through the the vibration of this tungsten hitting the top of its mouth is pretty intense actually compared to lead. And this green, the reason that I believe this green is so effective is because it blends in. So a lot of these Minnesota lakes and some of the clear Wisconsin lakes, you have the natural habitat down there is a lot of weeds, a lot of cabbage, and especially on the sand flats like we're at here now, a lot of the sand flats have that spindly, they call it sand grass. I don't know if that's the technical term for it, but that sand grass is basically exactly this color. So when this is down there, it blends in, and all that fish has to key in on, especially if you're targeting finicky fish. This green blends exactly with that sand grass, and all that's left to see is that leech, crawler, plastic, whatever you decide to use. So
now obviously we've been focusing on olive so far in this video, but if you know Tom, you know that he's notorious for being the guy who loves black jigs for walleyes. So in this next segment, Tom is kind of going to break down some of the reasoning on why he likes olive jigs and why he likes black jigs.
This time of year, we had a early spring, I should say, and so the shiner bite kind of disappeared, and now we're using leeches already. But this green on this tungsten, it's really, I'm seeing a lot of positive reaction with the fish. And there's a study that recently came out that says that walleyes, their eyes pick up the color green better than any color in the spectrum. So I find that pretty fascinating. It's the same reason really I like black tungsten jigs. The color black, let me put this guy back quick, but the black tungsten, black shows up as a silhouette. So whether it's this green color, whether it's white, anything like that, above the fish, it looks like a silhouette. It looks like a dark shadow. So when that bait falls in front of the fish, does that fish really understand that that's not a silhouette anymore? I don't think so. I think that black, no matter if it's clear water, doesn't matter if it's murky water, dirty water, black just stands out way more as a silhouette for that fish to key in on.
Now, as you know, Tom loves black jigs for walleyes. He uses them all the time. So we had to tie up a black jig just to make sure it still works.
There we go.
Ooh.
This is a little better.
Grab the net for you. Oh yeah, that's a nicer one.
It's a little nicer. got him on the, switched over to black tungsten, and look at that guy's eye. No wonder when I casted to one side of him. Remember, see that? Yeah. He didn't move.
Yeah, he was like.
And I drug it to the other side. He finally followed. That's why. That's funny. There we go. But no, I switch over to the black, and again, I mean, I've said it a few times, but the main reason I like black, it goes back to bass fishing days and things like that. It shows up as a silhouette. And we're taught that in dirty water, muddy water, black shows up better than bright colors because it does cast that dark silhouette. And I'm a true believer in that. Also in clear water to slightly stained water, doesn't matter. It looks like a shadow, and those fish aren't scared of shadows. So there's nothing out there to down there to really spook that fish away, especially when you start targeting a little bit bigger ones, and or sometimes you'll catch that fish out of a school and spook the whole entire school. For some reason, black and more natural colors eliminate that issue for me anyway.
All right, now Tom is gonna break down sort of his rod setup, his line setup, basically his whole system for fishing jigs for walleyes.
All right, so my preferred setup, and again, this is in my hands probably at least 80% of the season, and it's a very, very sensitive rod, paired with the most sensitive types of line possible. And then of course, at the end is the most sensitive jig on the market, in that being tungsten. Tungsten is just so much harder than lead. So the reason I have this entire setup is because once those fish pick up this hard tungsten, and then I can feel that vibration through the completely invisible, no stretch fluorocarbon, and then again the reverberations go through this no stretch braid and into my very light reel and sensitive rod. So that's very important because you don't want that fish to know you're on the other end of it. So traditional walleye tactics tell you to set the hook immediately, and a lot of that is because the fish know you're there already and they're going to spit that bait out. But now the way we're fishing using electronics, it's beneficial to have that set up so that you know that fish is there, but that fish has no idea you're there, and so it's holding onto that bait a little bit longer. So for my fluorocarbon, I usually use a leader that is roughly the length of my rod. So that way I can, if like on this line here is a little bit of frays from some of the fish I caught this morning, but I can clip this off and keep using this throughout the day, throughout the week even. And I pair that, it's an 8-pound fluorocarbon tied with a double uni knot to a 10-pound high visibility braid. And it is all, this is a Daiwa braid, Daiwa fluorocarbon, and this is the new Daiwa TDI walleye specific rod. And you know, we put in a couple extra guides in this rod at a very, very good price point to allow for that ultra sensitivity. And it's always good too to have a reel that's very lightweight to not only detect those subtle bites, but then also reduce fatigue throughout the day when you're catching those 30, 40, 50 walleyes. So these are just something little to keep in mind as you're going forward to try to make those right decisions and things to put walleyes in the boat.
All right, let's wrap up this video with one last tungsten eater. Tom's gonna put one more fish in the net.
All right, so there's another nice Minnesota walleye weekend after opener. But yeah, so basically out here, another one on the black tungsten, and just paired with the leech. And this time of year, typically it's minnows, but for some reason they're wanting the leech. It's always a good thing to have a good arsenal of bait in your boat. But this black tungsten, so in my tournaments, so you know, tournaments aren't everything. You know, we want to go out there and catch a bunch of fish on the weekends and stuff like that, but tournaments is what put me on the platform to get this, learn fish behavior and things like that. And I'm noticing that black or anything that resembles anything under the lake, fish don't shy away from, and actually will tend to bite more and pick these baits up. So in tournaments last year, for example, there's only 4 fish that I weighed in that weren't on a black tungsten jig. Now, I had different things behind it. Sometimes it was eye candy plastic, sometimes it was live bait, but every fish that I weighed in last year, every check I cashed was on a black tungsten jig. And so yeah, this coming season as well, I've already had 1 tournament this year on Lake Erie, and I was using a 3/8 ounce black tungsten with plastic and live bait as well. So it just depends on the water depth, wind, current, things like that on your weights, but black shows up as a shadow, shows up as a dark silhouette, and it is my go-to choice. And it's becoming, as I'm seeing a lot of you out there are starting to use black very effectively.
That's about all we got for you in this one. Special thanks to Tom for sharing a bunch of really good information. If you're interested in the tungsten jigs in that olive color, you can go to northlandtackle.com and find them there. But if you enjoyed this video and you learned something, make sure to hit that little red subscribe button down below, because we have a lot more awesome content coming in the future. And until then, we will see you in the next one.